Vault 3 stood as one of 5 great shelters, carved into the Mojave by the hand of Vault-Tec. Its purpose aligned with housing a civilian population. Alongside Vault 11, 19, 21, and 34, it was meant to serve as a bulwark against the nuclear firestorm to come. Unlike most of its twisted brethren, however, Vault 3 was designed as one of the elusive control vaults, 17 in total, where no sinister social experiment would unfold in the shadows. Its placement was deliberate. Nestled deep within the blocks of South Vegas, it became one of only 2 vaults built so close to the glittering strip, its sister being Vault 21. While gamblers above clung to neon lights and luck, those chosen for Vault 3 would descend into steel corridors, spared from the meddling manipulations that poisoned so many other sanctuaries. On paper, it was meant to be a safe haven, but like all vaults, its fate would turn into something far darker than intended. For decades after the Great War, Vault 3 endured in relative peace. Its systems held firm, its people thrived, and unlike so many other vaults, no hidden experiments gnawed at the fabric of society. But even steel and circuitry could not withstand eternity. Sometime in the 23rd century, disaster struck. A leak seeped into the vault's water system. Slow at first, then ruinous. The residents were left with no choice but to breach their sealed doors for the first time since the bombs had fallen. What they found beyond was a world scarred but alive. Struggling communities, ransacked towns, and a wasteland learning, however brutally, to endure. At first, the opening of Vault 3 seemed like salvation rather than doom. Its inhabitants began to trade freely with the outside, exchanging goods and skills for supplies, weaving fragile ties of commerce and trust. For a few brief weeks, there was peace. The Vault's people even prospered, turning survival into something resembling a livelihood. But the wasteland is never blind to abundance. The flow of trade, so promising at first, became a beacon. And among those that drew were the Fiends, a tribe of violent, chem-addicted raiders who sought not partners, but prey. The Vault Dwellers, untested by decades of isolation, and lulled by the relative peace of their first dealings with the outside, never imagined treachery would come cloaked in friendship. The Fiends played their part well. Traders, wanderers, survivors in need. The doors of Vault 3, once an unbroken barrier between safety and ruin, opened wide to them. What followed was swift and merciless, exploiting the dwellers' naivety and a lack of heart and security. The raiders struck without hesitation. Hallways meant for families became killing grounds, the cries of the betrayed echoing against cold steel walls. Within hours, the vault that had stood unspoiled since the war was drowned in blood and fire. When the slaughtering ended, the Fiends remained. They took the vault as their own, turning its once ordered chambers into dens of violence and addiction. Vault 3 had become a fortress of raiders, its legacy twisted beyond recognition.